Yeah, what's up, everybody? You know what I'm saying? Back again. You know, first of all, happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone. You know, it is St. Patrick's Day. Spring break as well. You know, so this morning, you know, spring break and all, I decided to go out into my neighborhood, which is bad. You know, bad neighborhood equals, you know, bad things happen in the neighborhood. You know, people. You know, I'm just shooting hoops, you know, this morning, and there's people across the street. You know, I don't know who they're waiting on. I guess they're waiting for somebody to start the car so they could leave or something, and they just decide to just, you know, come all the way to the end of their driveway just to stare at me. You know, I'm trying not to pay attention, but I'm noticing that they staring at me. Have you ever had that? Somebody actually making an effort to stare at you? You know, staring at people. First of all, staring is one of the worst, is one of the most rude things that you could possibly do to someone. I mean, I don't care. You can touch them, but staring at them is worse than touching them in the wrong places or something. That's just terrible. Because, you know, and the thing about it, it's like, okay, me being a guy, and, you know, two guys staring at me, just sitting there staring at me, little kids, you know, well, not little kids, but they were kids, just sitting there gonna stare at me. Why? Do something with your life. Don't just sit there and stare at me. And I had my headphones in, so I don't know what they were saying, and I don't care what they were saying. My thing is, they don't have the nerve to stare at people. That is so rude. Now, one thing about staring is you can't control it. They're gonna keep staring at you no matter what. You know, I'm guessing they wanted to play basketball. I don't know what they were doing but you know, for them to just sit there and stare at me was just like dumb. You know what I mean? People always stare at people all the time. I can't picture it. Now, I can understand if girls stare at me or something like that. That makes me feel special. But guys don't deserve to be staring at other guys. That's just wrong. And then staring, like I said, staring sometimes can just be wrong, especially when you make it obvious. I can understand, you know, like sometimes I may be staring at someone when I don't really realize I'm staring at them, but I don't make it obvious by sitting there just making the effort to stare at someone. That is wrong. You just sit there and make the effort to just stare at someone. You stop what you're doing to stare at them. Now, sometimes the only time I ever stare at another guy is if they doing something to me or they stepped on my foot and they didn't even know they did it. I'll just sit there and go, and then finally they'll go, what? And I'm like, you just stepped on my foot, you know. But and then if you know, pretty girls, you always gotta stare. That's pretty girls. You just stare at like, whoa. But then, you know, we finally come back to reality. Don't stare. That's rude. Some people don't have that mentality to stop staring at people. So if you have a staring problem, you need to admit that you have a staring problem, so that way we can forgive you. Other than that, we gonna think you dumb or something's wrong with you, or we just gonna keep talking about you even more. It's not right to stare at people if you haven't known that. One day you're gonna find out the truth too. You're just gonna be staring at the wrong person at the wrong time at the wrong place. You ain't gonna have no friends to back you up. And next thing you know, something bad happens to you, all because you stared at someone unannounced. You made the effort to stare at someone. That's like somebody driving down the street and getting out their car just to stare at you. That is so messed up. It is very messed up. So if you have a staring problem, admit it before you stare at somebody. And then you have to think about it too. If you stare at the same thing for more than 30 seconds, you need to know that, what am I doing? Why am I staring at this person? I don't care if you're in deep thought or not. Some people kind of just, including me, just sit there and stare at something and then just get in a deep thought mode. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Big deal. Other than that, man, it's wrong, man. I'm telling you. I'm out.